Hey everybody, welcome back to Drinks and a Movie. Chris Hamker back with you, and today we'll be talking about Suicide Squad, the very much anticipated movie. And the drink I'll be making today is called the Joker. You know what the Joker is? For anybody who's seen the movie, grape soda and vodka. So in the movie, Joker says to Harley Quinn at one point, I got some grape soda on ice and a bearskin rug waiting for us. And so I thought, how about we do grape soda, vodka with little lime wedges in here for the green. So let's see how this works out. I got your grape soda, fill that bastard up, and then 2 shots or 2 parts of vodka. So here we go. 1 and 2. Alright, I'm putting it on top of the grape soda just so it will, mix in a little better. Alright, let's see how this bad boy is. Oh my god, it's awful. I forgot how terrible grape soda is. That was a terrible idea. Hang on a second. Now, let's talk about Suicide Squad. I'll go grab my boomerang. Okay, so Suicide Squad, let's talk about it. Suicide Squad is written and directed by David Ayer and stars Will Smith, Margot Robbie, Viola Davis, and Jared Leto? Kind of? So real quick, just the Suicide Squad and what it's about, and you should find this out in the trailers, is that Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis, is a government higher-up and decides to make a team of superhumans slash metahumans to combat a alien force that could possibly come to Earth just like Superman did, but doesn't have Superman's values. And so they would need to have somebody to combat that. So she makes Task Force X, which is full of villains or bad guys. And the idea and the reason why she uses villains and bad guys is to have a sort of plausible deniability, so if shit hits the fan and things go wrong, then she can blame them for all the problems and not take any responsibility for anything. Okay, so let me first start off by saying that all the characters and the actors that got to play them were pretty great. I first of all loved Will Smith as Deadshot. He was wonderful. He reminds us why he's a movie star. He's so charismatic and carried this movie along with Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. She was really great too. She, I think, encapsulated enough of the crazy, but also enough of the, she took her crazy and kind of made you feel sorry for her a little bit as well. They were both great. Viola Davis is far more menacing than the bad guy they had in this movie, and she was really good as Amanda Waller, and even fucking Jai Courtney, who Hollywood's been trying to make Jai Courtney a thing for a while, and they haven't been able to do it until now when he used his actual Australian accent to play Captain Boomerang, and he was a lot of fun. He didn't have much to do. He was a lot of fun. He doesn't really throw many boomerangs, which is his thing. He maybe throws like 3 during the movie, but he was a lot of fun. He knew he was in a comic book movie, and that's okay in this instance. And last thing is Jared Leto's Joker, who I'll talk about a little bit later. You guys need to know up front, he's not in it very much. Maybe 10 minutes of screen time, and I think that hurt the movie. So I'm concentrating on the characters because this is pretty much the only thing the movie had going for it, is great actors with that really bought into their characters, and they dove headlong into these characters and were really good with them. Jay Hernandez is another one, as Diablo, is really good, and he was one of the surprises of the movie that I really loved. And so here's the thing. All these actors, all these characters deserve to be in a better movie, in a different movie. And this movie was just a chopped up mess in the first half. And the first half is one of the things I liked. And then the second half is their mission, which is terrible, and I'll go into that in a second. Their mission doesn't fit the characters at all. And so I just wish these group of actors and these characters were in a better movie. Well, now let's get into some of the things I didn't like, which are numerous. First of all, these group of supervillains, Task Force X, as they're called, are assembled to, fight an alien like Superman if one comes back, because Superman's dead in this. It happens after Batman v Superman, and the thing is, that's problem number one. The thing is, all these characters would just get wiped out immediately by any kind of Superman type character. So here's the idea, and try to wrap your head around this. So the government says we need somebody who can combat a Superman that comes along. And so what they do, they pick a lunatic with a bat, this woman who's a lunatic with a bat, Harley Quinn. They pick a guy who throws boomerangs, and Slipknot. Now, I get it. They had the Enchantress. This is what everybody's going to say. You have the Enchantress. Okay, let's talk about the Enchantress real quick. First of all, Dr. Moon is, I think, her name. Worst archaeologist ever. At the beginning of the movie, she finds this, archaeological find with these, figurines and these pots and this altar, this stuff all around. And she goes in there and she picks up this urn that is intact, completely intact. It doesn't fall apart in her hands. It doesn't, when she walks up to it, break apart. She then breaks it and then gets possessed by the Enchantress that's been, stuck inside here. So, worst archaeologist ever. Terrible way to start the movie. So, they have her, and Amanda Waller says, well, I have this demon that's been alive for almost 7,000 years, and she'll do my bidding because I have her heart. Okay, fine. And then when they try to use her, she then goes rogue, and she ends up being the villain of the movie. And it's, I think, one of the worst villains ever. So you have Enchantress, she takes off, she frees her brother, Incubus, and who ends up being this terribly CG, like the end of The Mummy 2 character that is just mindless and awful, while Enchantress is now building this like machine that's gonna destroy the earth because she's upset. And the way she builds this machine is by dancing and undulating this entire time. And if you see me doing this and get a little tired of it, well, just imagine this for about 40 minutes of the movie. The bad guy just doing this. Problem number 2 is the first bit, which I kind of liked. I gotta be honest, I kind of liked, is their montages of introducing the characters. Some of the characters, not all of them, the main characters, the Will Smiths, the Margot Robbies, the Deadshots, and the Harley Quinns are introduced at the beginning by like this music video montage type thing where they hit each character with a pop culture classic song. And okay, at the beginning it was cool, and they did this real flashy kind of almost Guy Ritchie type thing where they threw some shit up on the screen. They were like Deadshot, who can, is expert marksman and 50 different weapons, and then Harley Quinn comes up. Harley Quinn's crazy. Here's her aliases, and they flash shit up on screen, and it's fun. They use pop music, and it's cool. All right, somewhat. And then the movie progresses, and they continue to beat you over the head with this pop music almost throughout the entire thing. And it just got too much. They tried to be too hip, too cool with this whole pop music thing, and it really started to get annoying by a certain point. So, which brings me to Jared Leto's Joker. Okay, so first of all, I don't think he had enough screen time for me to really create an opinion on his performance, or whether I liked it or whether I hated it. What I can say is that it is completely different than what you've ever seen as the Joker, completely different from Cesar Romero or from Jack Nicholson or from Heath Ledger or from even Mark Hamill in the animated series. It's completely different. He is more of a gangster, mob boss, Scarface type person, but what I can say, and I think this is effective, storytelling and acting and creation of a character. He made me uncomfortable. He made me very uncomfortable, and it was very off-putting. It was very, he was kind of menacing, but it and so what I liken it to, and I don't know if anybody remembers this, but there's a movie out in the 90s, and this is going to show my age a bit, but I love this movie. If you haven't seen it, you should go out and find it and watch it. Called True Romance. It's written by Quentin Tarantino, directed by Tony Scott, with Christian Slater in it, and has tons of actors doing little cameo roles and cameo bits. But Gary Oldman in the beginning plays a pimp. He's a white guy, but he thinks he's black, and he has one scene, and his scene is very uncomfortable and made me feel uneasy, and I didn't like it, and so this Joker, Jared Leto's Joker, is very much like that. Jared Leto's Joker, I would never want to meet, I would never want to talk to. I would never want to have any interaction with. I wouldn't mind talking to Jack Nicholson's Joker. I wouldn't mind interacting with Heath Ledger's Joker, even though he's all about chaos and about things being unpredictable. Jared Leto's Joker is uncomfortable, and he puts me at an uneasy feeling. He's very off-putting, and I don't particularly like that feeling, and I think that's a very effective way to create a character. And look, Warner Brothers, you can't hire a director and a writer like David Ayer, who wrote Training Day, who wrote and directed End of Watch, who wrote and directed Fury. You can't hire a guy that made 2 hardcore, gritty cop movies and then a hardcore, gritty World War II tank movie, and then expect it to be flashy and bright and have pop culture music in it and be real funny. And so what I think happened, and this is all conjecture, this is all just me guessing, but it's to me really evident in the movie. I think what happened is David Ayer made a movie. Warner Brothers looked at it and went, whoa, people hated Batman v Superman because it was kind of gritty and dark and sort of grimy. So let's not do this. Let's change it. Let's add on pop culture music. And you know how I feel about that, because I did a video about it being in trailers to try to fool the audience into thinking this is fun and hip and cool. And Suicide Squad did that. The first trailer that came out was very gritty, very dark, very ominous, and it looked like it had potential. But then they threw Queen onto it. It made a great trailer, don't get me wrong, but they threw Queen on it, and then they noticed audience reaction to it, and they said, okay, here's what we need to do. David Ayer, give us your cut. We're going to watch your cut, and then we're going to make our own with our trailer guys and put in a bunch of music and make it into a music video, a pandering, hot topic music video that just didn't work. Like I said, there's bits about this movie that I really loved. I loved the characters. I loved the actors in their characters. But the movie itself just is a total mess. I guess at this point, the question is, do I like the movie? What's my rating? I don't know. I've been toying this all week. I've had to work a lot this weekend, so I've had a couple of days to think about this. And, my mind keeps changing on this. Did I love it? Did I hate it? I don't know. I think I'm going to end up giving it a 2.5 drinks out of 5. Just because there is so much potential with these actors and these characters that they've created, but in such a terrible, pandering mess of a fucking movie that I just can't give it a good grade, because it's not a great movie, but it had so much potential. Look, I had zero expectations going to this. I didn't read DC Comics like I did, Marvel or X-Men mainly. So I mean, I didn't really have a lot invested in it. But when I saw what they brought to the screen, it made me sad that they weren't in a better movie. So that's my grade. That's what I think. Let me know what your favorite DC Cinematic Universe movie is. If it's this one, if it's Batman v Superman, if it's Man of Steel. Let me know that. Please drink responsibly. Foster's Australian for beer. And look, never drink and drive. That's stupid. Don't ever do that. Drink responsibly. I'm on Twitter, Facebook. I have my website. Please check that out and subscribe down here if you like this. Cheers, everybody. Thank you. Have a drink on me.